we are here to talk about KOMPROMAT, the new two-player game. And Adam, can you tell us again how it all started, the design part?
So I was playing a lot of two-player card games with my wife, so things like Lost Cities and Battle Line, Panama Koji, and I fancied having a go at designing something along those lines, but using a push your luck blackjack mechanism. So I designed a game based around, it was pirates really, but you were competing to succeed at various different missions by playing hands of blackjack or 21, or pontoon as we call it in the UK. And I took this along to our weekly design group that Rob and I run, and we play test other people's designs and play test each other's designs, and I showed it to Rob, and he said, it's okay. He thought it was all right, but he had a lot of ideas about how to make it better, and so he came back to me a couple of days later and said, look, I've got this new version of your game, and it was a lot closer to the KOMPROMAT that we have now. So that was how it came about, and then we worked on it together from there on.
It's funny because
I was very kind to Adam with that feedback.
Okay, really. So I wonder how your feedback normally is when you're not kind.
Well, I played the Pirates game. I think we played it 2 weeks in a row. And first week I was sort of, The second week I was like, don't like this. But there was definitely something there. One of my favourite games is Rainer Knizia Battle Line. I just think that's a really elegant design. And I could see what Adam was going for. And I happened to find myself sitting in a doctor's waiting room for over an hour with nothing to do. So I just thought about Adam's design. I thought, what would I change to make it feel more like Battle Line and tick more of the boxes of what I would enjoy? And I came up with a list of 4 things that I wanted to change. Showed those to Adam, and he agreed that we could collaborate on it. And yeah, that was the start of the development of KOMPROMAT.
So how would you go about explaining the game? Imagine you're in acid.
Rob, you go.
So I have the cards. I can be your hands here.
KOMPROMAT is a 2-player card game that's based around a central mechanic of blackjack. The 2 players are both spies, but we're on opposite sides, and we are going on missions trying to either spread information about this figure who might be a politician or might be a celebrity or something like that, or we're trying to suppress that information. Along the way, we're collecting gadgets that might help us in this task. Got some sort of classic spy gadgets in there. And those are the things that allow us to bend the rules of the game. So we're seeing some night vision goggles there. The way it plays out from round to round is that there are 4 missions visible in the middle of the table, and each one of those is like a little game of blackjack that's going on, where the players are trying to get as close to 21 as they can without going bust. But we're playing all 4 of those games in parallel, essentially. So you probably can't win all of them, and that's where the fun of the game, a lot of the fun of the game comes from. You're trying to work out which mission is it most important for me to win this round. Which one can I allow my opponent to take without it damaging me too much? The actual gameplay is very straightforward. Each player has their own small deck of cards, which is not a standard distribution. We spent quite a bit of time tweaking the player deck in order to get an interesting variety of cards in there. So we have a couple of cards in there that are a bit special, like we have the 111 card. So you can either play it as value 1, or it can be the most powerful card, value 11. And thematically, we put that as the disguise, because the disguise is very powerful so long as it works. But as soon as your disguise is broken, it immediately becomes the weakest card. So that's an interesting card in the player deck. We have 3 7s, again thematically that's interesting. We've got 3 passports there. Any good spy needs plenty of passports. And then we have the 0.5 or the half card, which is like your lucky coin. It's luck on the mission. If luck's on your side, that half point might just push you to win that mission. But it could be the half point that takes you to 21 and a half. And you just got a little bit cheeky, and now you've gone bust. Each round, the active player plays one card, draws the card off the top of their deck, and you play that first card face up against any empty mission. And you may then keep drawing cards from your deck until you choose to stop or until you've gone bust. But these cards, importantly, are added face down to the same mission. So your opponent gets some information. They know what your starting value was, and they know how many other cards you've added to that mission, but they don't know what your total is. So there's a bit of guesswork and a bit of poker face as well, trying to read your opponent. Are they bluffing? Have they actually gone bust? Or are they creeping up on that 21 total? The round ends when all 4 missions have been played, so there'll be cards on both sides of all 4 missions, and we then reveal the totals, starting from the deck of mission cards. The start player for that round reveals first, and that's the point at which you must commit it on cards like the 111. You must decide, is it value 1, is it value 11? You lock that in, and your opponent then reveals, and we find out who won the mission. We play 6 rounds like that, and then the player with the most points wins. But I've missed out, or left out, the one additional mechanic, which is notoriety. I don't know, Adam, if you want to explain notoriety.
Yeah. Okay. So generally, when we're winning missions, what we're winning is victory points. Most of these cards have victory points on them, or they give us a useful item that we can use later in the game. But some of the missions have counterintelligence attached to them. And these will give you notoriety tokens. If you ever get up to 9 notoriety tokens at any point in the game, then you're out of the game instantly. So there's an example of a counterintelligence card with a notoriety token on it. So you want to get, but the great thing about notoriety is, it's good to be notorious, you just don't want to be too notorious. So at the end of the game, you're going to get 1 victory point for each notoriety token you've got. And if you ever hit 9, game ends immediately and you lose. Now, the main way that you get notoriety tokens is not these counterintelligence cards, it's by going bust. So if you go over 21 on a mission, you take a notoriety token. And that's great in the early stages of the game, because that's victory points. But the more you push your luck, the closer you get to those 9 notoriety tokens, the closer you are to being knocked out of the game.
Here's a perfect example, I think. You have a 7, 7, and an 8.
Yeah.
22.
Yeah.
So, and this player has a 6 and 5. That's 11 and another 11. But you can decide to play this card as a 1, so you won the mission, and this player gets a notoriety token.
Unless the player who got 22 had a Vesper Martini, in which case they could knock it down to a 21.
Yes, but they don't, because it's just the start of the game. Right, so this actually special ability tool goes to player blue, and then we always start revealing the cards from the mission that is closest to the drawing deck, and this is really clever because sometimes when you win a tool, you could already plan to use it during the same round. Yeah.
Yeah, the tools become available to you immediately. So as you say, you might pick up, I don't know, the Vesper Martini as an example, which allows you to modify your total by +1 or -1. If you pick that up as the first mission in the round, then you could use it immediately on the 2nd, 3rd or 4th missions to ensure you get a perfect 21, let's say, and win. The game is constantly pushing you to interesting parts of the design. Mm-hmm. So if you get 21, that gives you an opportunity to throw away one of your notoriety tokens. Mm-hmm. So if you feel halfway through the game you're getting a bit too close to that 9 cutoff, score a perfect 21 and you can discard it. But of course, by going for that 21, you're risking getting another notoriety by going bust, and it could be game over. So yeah, the game constantly pushes you to this knife edge of really interesting decisions. Just how far will you go to make sure you get the item, or win the mission, or get a perfect mission to discard notoriety.
Yeah.
Always keeps you on your toes.
The ability I just won is actually night vision, and it allows me to discover my 5 cards from my deck as we are playing, the blackjack side of the game, and I can look at them and put them back. So clearly, like, it's not useful for this round, so I'm gonna keep it for next round. And also, like, this card, as soon as I used it, like as soon as I use the ability, I have to flip it because I can't use the ability twice. And at the end of the game, it brings me a point. And it's supposed to be an after dinner game, so you push the plates and you can be playing in no time. All right. And so at the end of the round, let's say, okay, I will just finish it real quick. So this is a 10, a 3, and a 2, and a 15.5. And this is 17.5. So this one goes to player blue with a counterintelligence notoriety token. This is discarded from the game. Oh yes, we could talk about this card too. The document and code that we have in the game.
Yes, that's some of the missions are retrieving documents, and there are 3 document cards in the deck, and some of the missions are retrieving codes as well, 3 of those. And that's a very small set collecting element in the game. So 1 document is worth 2 points, but if you have 2, it's worth 6 points, and if you have all 3 documents, 12 points. So it's small things like that that make each round feel different. I have to remember, did my opponent already get a document? In which case, if I allow them to get a second document, the value of the first one is increased. If they get all 3, they become really quite valuable cards, 4 points each, 12 points for the set of 3. So the game is dynamic as you play it, and there is an element very much of keeping track of what your opponent is doing. Where are they getting most of their points, and how can you defeat that?
Exactly. So when the round is over, I picked up all my cards. I also include the cards that I didn't use from last time because I don't have to use all my cards. And player yellow does the same. So we ended the first round with me winning 4 victory points, a special tool, and a notoriety token, and player yellow has a document, 3 victory points, and a notoriety token. And so we mix them in, shuffle again, and we're ready to play round 2. So we lay 4 cards on the table. Here, this is a very punishing counterintelligence card with 3 notoriety tokens. A new tool. This one, so you can win a mission that has notoriety tokens like counterintelligence without getting the tokens. So if it was placed like this, then you could use the ability right away. But because it's placed like this, you would not be able to use it on this card. And the last one is a GPS tracker. So this lets you put back the card that you just drew on your deck again, even if you went over 21 for some reason. And then you continue playing, and you have in total, when you finish the entire deck, you have 6 rounds. It plays in it's quite consistent. Like it's like you know the game or you don't know the game. It's usually half an hour, I find. Yeah. When we received your prototype, we were so impressed with everything. I mean, we could tell there was so much testing going on behind, and it made our life really easy somehow.
Oh, great! Well, we should
Yeah.
we should throw some of the praise back at you guys at Helvetica really with the amazing job that you've done with the production of it. The graphic design
Thank
and
you.
everything on it is stunning. The box is stunning. The art is great. The theming of it is all fantastic. So yeah, no, it does go both ways. It's a collaboration, isn't it? Making these things.
And that's a really nice opportunity to talk about Felix, our very own Felix. He's a member of our team, and he illustrated the game. And he had a lot of fun illustrating. And actually, what you might recognize is that some of these scenes are from famous movies. So we'll let you discover them as you play.
Just to reiterate what Adam said, it has been really great working to get the game into development with Helvetica. It's been so nice, particularly being able to talk to Felix, for example, the illustrator, and share ideas with him. And I really like that you've gone with such bold choices as well. I got my physical copy this week, and as soon as you see it, that beautiful punchy blue and the orange, it really looks stunning. It's a really fantastic product, so thank you so much.
Thank you.